Welcome back to the Mind of Watercolor, everybody. Well, we're going to do a little bit of a pen review today, and not a brand review, but a category review. Being that this is InkTober month, and pen and ink is such a great companion to watercolor, I thought it would be a great idea to just kind of go over the pen categories that are out there, and there are a ton of them, and there are a ton of different kind of pens. I mean, just hundreds upon hundreds. I thought we'd just review the categories, talk about them, talk about what works great for watercolor or how you can use them with watercolor and in what ways. And then maybe if you want to participate in Inktober, you can do that. So let's get started. I got two columns here, and this column over here we're going to call waterproof, and over here water soluble. And I probably misspelled that, but you know what I mean. A good many fit into this category, and if you're doing ink on wash, or wash on ink, I should say, this is what you're looking for. You can use water soluble in a number of circumstances for special effects, actually using a dip pen with watercolor, and we'll get into that, or using a water soluble pen and then using a water pen maybe to add tone. We'll talk about all of that. So first of all, let's go start with one of the best known categories, and that's what I'll call the liners. Okay, this is probably most familiar to people because they sell literally everywhere, and topping the list is the Pigma Micron. Again, I am not reviewing brands, and there are literally tons of different versions of this kind of pen, but they all are kind of headed by, this category is kind of headed by the Pigma Micron. I have here a Copic multi-liner, which is very similar. The Statler pigment liner. Another one is the Faber Castell Pitt artist pen. These are sort of distinguished by the pinpoint kind of end, and they will all be a variety of widths. In other words, you can buy this pen in, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 different widths. A lot of them you can even buy in sets. This Copic multi-liner, for instance, came in a set of all different sizes. They're characterized by a very mono-weight line, and it's equivalent to a technical pen. Years ago, technical pens used to be a big thing, and you can still buy them, but I think these kind of ended up replacing technical pens. I mean, for instance, you can get out a ruler, and you get a perfect weight line that never changes. Now, there are artists out there that will do variable lines by pressing down, but you don't get much variation, and in so doing, you kind of squish that end. But still, this is like an enormously popular drawing tool. I've used it a ton. It's dependable. When one runs dry and they're disposable, it's easy to go find another one and just keep on drawing. They're archival, they're pigmented, and they're waterproof. And so and they dry really fast. So after drawing, I can go back and put a wash of watercolor over that. Okay, I got a lot to cover here, so we're going to move on. Next category would be brush pens. Now, a lot of these are Japanese made, and it's interesting because I learned about several because I went on jetpens.com. JetPens, the site that just deals in pens and pencils and writing instruments, and I bought a sampler pack of brush pens. I had no idea there were really this many. The name is a little bit confusing and misleading, but this is what they sent me. It's cool. I've got a Zebra, a Tombow, a Kuretake. This is a Pentel, and this one's a Pilot. But they are different. Now, brush pens can kind of take on different forms, and I'm going to save the actual, what I consider the true brush pen till last. Now this brush pen is kind of familiar. Pigma makes one of these also, but it's kind of a rubber, it's a flexible tip. You can see there. It's kind of rubbery though. So if you've ever used a brush pen, chances are you've used one of these. A lot of times these come in a set along with the liners. If you buy a set of liners, a lot of them will have a brush pen in there. It'll be like this. It'll be like a little rubbery, flexible tip. Okay. And, you know, you can do some pretty lightweight lines if you work on your control. It does take a lot of control. But now these others, which are also called brush pens, are really kind of hard. There's not much flex to them. And yet, amazingly, they're designed so that you can go from a lightweight, they've got a little bit of a cushion to them. They don't bend as much as that rubbery tip. So that's the Tombow. And this one also, it feels semi-hard compared to that rubbery one. This is the Zebra. And I'll say I really like this Zebra. I could go from just a microfine line to a fat line pretty easily. And when you look at it, you can't tell. It just looks like a hard plastic tip. Okay. Love that Zebra. I actually haven't used it much, but I'm going to try it. This is the Kuretake. Similar. Not as fine as the Zebra, but great for getting a varied line. And you know, you can use these in concert with one another to do detail or to fill. Now these two, these are Pentels. These I would call true brush pens. And they're the same, they're just different sizes. This is the Pentel pocket brush. And the reason I say they're true brush pens is because this is actually a brush. I can go in there with my finger and separate the hairs. And this is a lovely brush. It does take some practice to get control of it, but I can go from literally hair to this. And I've seen artists like Jake Parker, the guy who founded InkTober, ink entire drawings with this. It's a great pen to practice and learn with. Again, a true brush pen there. Love it. That's sort of my go-to brush pen. And this one also, this is the same, only bigger. Calligraphers will use these for lettering also. This is also a true brush pen. As I said, just like the pocket brush. So that's brush pens. Great category. And they make good companions with liners. All right, third category. Dip pens. Dip pens are extremely versatile. They're not really very portable, so they're hard to use on location because you got to carry your ink with you. And you have to set your ink up in a place that's stable so you don't knock it over. I mean, knocking ink bottles over, trust me, from experience, is a pretty common thing. One of the things I do is I actually put my ink, this is one of the inks I use a lot. This is Dr. Martin's Black Star Waterproof India ink. I usually put it in here and I have a place to put my dropper. There are even bases you can buy to put your ink wells in. But, so, I mean, you have to keep dipping the pen, but just untold numbers of nibs out there that you can get that do various things. For my patrons, I did a video on testing out some of these nibs, and you can get some that flex a lot. You can get some that flex a little. If you're a patron and you haven't seen it, go over there and check that video out. I test out 5 different nibs. but the flexibility is great, and you have, it opens up a world of color also. First of all, let me just show you with some India ink. And you've got usually a lot of control with very, very fine lines. And you can go from that to very thick lines. And comic cartoonists, cartoon strip artists love this kind of a pen. And a good nib, you know, you can draw for a little while. You don't have to dip it every few seconds. This is a Leonard Speedball. Is probably one, if you've looked at art supply stores and you've looked in the section where they have dip pens, usually what you'll see are Speedballs. Very common. This is part of the flexibility of dip pens. You can use things like colored acrylic inks. This is FW, but Dr. Martens makes a series called Bombay. Winsor Newton makes a series of pigmented inks that are all permanent. Here, this is a Takakama comic nib holder with a zebra G nib. You're drawing along, you can draw expressively, you know. I think that's the coolest thing about dip pens. And if you're using an acrylic ink like this, just like India ink, it's permanent. You can go back over it with washes once it's dry. Now, as opposed to liners and these brush pens, these take longer to dry, so you have to make sure that your ink is dry before you go over the top of it with watercolor. Now, another really great use of dip pens is you can put white or gouache in there. I'm not going to demonstrate that, but you can use opaque paints, you know, thin down, but you can also use liquid watercolor. This is Dr. Martens Hydrus. And so we're going to put this over here in the water soluble category. And if you want to actually draw in your watercolor painting with watercolor, you can do it. You can, you know, mix up a concentrated mix on your palette and apply it in here with a brush, or you can just dip right into the concentrated color. All right, so moving on. The last category I wanted to cover today is fountain pens. Now, fountain pens is a whole nother universe. Let me tell you, I mean, you can get lost in that universe. The fountain pen lovers and aficionados out there use it for everything from writing to sketching to our favorite subject, watercolor, you know, wash over ink. You can pay anywhere from $3 or $5 for a cheap Chinese fountain pen to multiple hundreds of dollars, even thousands of dollars, to fountain pens with gold nibs. I don't own a pen that's over $40. Most of them are under. This is called the Noodler's Ahab. It has a flex nib, which flexes more than most fountain pens. Most fountain pens are pretty stiff. You can get a little bit of variation. But this is piston filled, which means you can put whatever ink you want in it. And when you have that flexibility, you can actually put a waterproof ink in there. This is Noodler's Bulletproof Black. It takes a while to dry, just kind of like these inks. But once you do, it's waterproof to watercolor. You can wash over it. This is probably one of my favorite sketching pens. This is the Lamy Safari. This is a fine. It's also filled with Noodler's Black Bulletproof ink. Love the feel of this pen in my hand. It's just a great pen. But now the thing to keep in mind about fountain pens, if you go buy or order a fountain pen and it comes with a cartridge, assume that it's going to be water soluble. The Rotring Art Pen, now I have this filled with sepia ink and it's water soluble. It's a great sketching pen though. Not much flex to it, almost a unit weight line. but it's pretty much like watercolor. And you can actually use that to your advantage. You can draw and then go in and activate it as if it were as if it were watercolor or a watercolor pencil. But if you get a fountain pen with cartridges that came with it, assume in advance till you have a chance to test it, assume that they are water soluble. Until you can put a ink in your fountain pen that is, you know for sure, is permanent. Now the Noodler's Bulletproof Black is good. There's also another one which I haven't tried yet, but I've heard about it. It's Platinum Carbon. Made for fountain pens, also permanent. Here's another fountain pen that fits into the water-soluble category. This one is called the Copic Drawing Pen. This is a disposable drawing pen. It's a great way to find out if you like fountain pens. It's got a little bit of flex to the nib. It's a nice drawing instrument, water-soluble. So it's nice if you want to do a drawing and then go in and add tone. Just like I did here. You know, and you can use pens like this with watercolor. You just have to put it on last. So let's say you were watercoloring there and you just want to go back and add some pen and ink. So again, same warning applies. If you get a fountain pen that's pre-filled or has cartridges with it, just assume that it's water soluble. And the reason they do that is because it doesn't clog. All right, that's pretty much the roundup. I hope that just has some help for you and gives you an idea of the various pens that are out there. Go out and get a couple that seem to appeal to you and give them a try. Thanks everyone. I appreciate it. Thank you patrons for your support. It means the world. And everybody, if this was a help, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. See you guys next time.